Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector coming at you with an early morning video, and this video is really meant for the folks who are not opposed to do a little bit of game hunting on either eBay or Mercari. And I'm making this video because I think that this is going to be a good year to shop for the PS2. I know I've been talking a lot about the PlayStation 4, but there are some PS2 classics that I think folks are going to want to keep an eye out for this year because prices are dropping. Now, the 10 games that I'm going to show you are in the upper echelon of PlayStation 2 games when it comes to pricing. And these are ones that have either dropped significantly or are dropping currently. And you would be able to get some good deals on it. So without any wasting of any time, I'll dive right in. The first game that we're looking at is Forever Kingdom. This is an action RPG where you play in a multi-party format. This is one of those action adventure RPG games where you can power up your weapons, perform, team attacks. It's very bright, colorful, has a beautiful story. Most importantly, this game at one point was going for roughly around $100, and now you can get it complete in box for between 60 to, I want to say between 70 and 75 bucks. Maybe you can get it for 65, but that's a really good deal for this game because at one point this game was pretty expensive, and this is one of the more expensive PlayStation 2 games. So keep an eye out for Forever Kingdom. The next game, Drakengard 2. Now, you have Drakengard, which was, the first part to this game was expensive. It is expensive. And, you are going to pay up for the first one. The second one was even more expensive. And I remember during the pandemic, Drakengard went all the way up above $150. There was one point where this game was fetching $160 to $170. Drakengard 2 has fallen off the map. Drakengard 2 right now, you can probably pick up a complete in-box copy for somewhere between 75 and 85 bucks. That's a huge drop, like 50% discount from one of the most expensive games, I would say about 2 years ago. So if you're thinking about picking up the Drakengard series, Drakengard 1 and 2, I recommend doing it sometime soon because, like I said, the price for this game has fallen off the map. And at one point, this was one of the most expensive PlayStation 2 games. There is a part 3 that's available on the PlayStation 3. I do have it. I don't know if it's as acclaimed as part 1 and 2, but definitely check out Drakengard 2 because the price on this one has dropped. The next game that we have up here is Suikoden 5. Suikoden 5 is considered the best in the PS2 series. I have Suikoden 2. I know Suikoden 2 is like the grail, that's considered the grail game in the series. I've never played Suikoden 1. I have played Suikoden 2, played a little bit of Suikoden 5. But we're focusing primarily on pricing here in this video. So this is another one that's taken a hit. I've seen Suikoden go for under $100. And again, at one point, this game was pulling in around $150 at its height. So that's a $50 discount. That's over 30% off. If you're thinking about adding some expensive PS2 titles to your collection, I would say look into Suikoden 5 now. It is a pretty good version of the game or in the series. Definitely check it out. Now is when you can get a good discount. Here's one that I don't hear talked about a lot, but Gundam versus Zeta Gundam. This game too, as you can see, at one point this was going for 15 bucks, right? This is crazy. But at its height, Zeta Gundam was pulling in around 125 to 130 bucks. This was one of the more expensive Gundam games. You have a few of these Gundam games that are more tactical. Not a lot of them have like a lot of live action. They're not like action based. This is one of the ones that are action based. Kind of plays a little bit like the Dynasty Warriors Gundam, but obviously without the Dynasty Warriors element to it. So this is an action-based Gundam game that was pulling in around 120 to 130 bucks. Now you can pick up Zeta Gundam for between 80 to 100 bucks. So that's a decent discount. It's not as steep as like Suikoden or Drakengard, but again, prices are dropping on these. So if you're not ready to pull the trigger on this game at the current price that it's at, you'll at least want to keep your eye on it if this is something that you're interested in adding to your PlayStation 2 collection. So just wanted to kind of put that out there. The next one, this is a beat 'em up classic on the PlayStation 2. Anyone who's into 3D beat 'em ups, I'm a huge fan of 3D beat 'em ups. I love the Yakuza series. You definitely want to take a look at God Hand. God Hand as well was also one of those games that was extremely expensive during the pandemic, pulling in somewhere between 130 and 140 bucks. This is a very unique beat 'em up, and I've never seen anything like this on any other system. This is a very unique game. Obviously, it's made by Capcom, so you know Capcom is known for their action. I really like this game. This game has more like Fist of the North Star vibes. So if you're a fan of the Fist of the North Star series, you'll want to look into this one. But again, this one too has taken a drop in price. So it's gone down from about 130, 140. Now you can probably pick up a copy of God Hand between 80 and 90 bucks. So if it's something, if you're into beat 'em ups and you're looking to add maybe some more top tier games to kind of beef up your PS2 collection, keep an eye out for God Hand. This is one that you'll want to check out. Bolo, I guess they would say. Keep an eye out for this one because this is one that you may want to add. Next up here we have is Futurama. Now, I'm a fan of like certain games that are made from TV series. Like I have the Family Guy game on the Xbox 360. I have Simpsons Hit and Run. So if you're a fan of like games like that, like Simpsons Hit and Run, Family Guy, I don't know if they have an American Dad game. I can't remember if they have one of those or not. But Futurama was one of those like adult version cartoon shows that used to come on Adult Swim. They made a game out of this. This game is also available, I believe, on the Xbox. I don't think they came out with a version for the GameCube. I think this is only available on Xbox and PS2. I could be wrong. If I am, let me know down in the comments. But this is a very fun action-adventure game. It uses the cel-shaded graphics, so the graphics look great, even though it's on the PS2, because, you know, the PS2 is known for not having the best graphics. Futurama, man, I think this game at one point was fetching like 300 bucks. Futurama was one of the most expensive games on the PS2. This was like a $300 game at one point. But even Futurama has taken a significant hit. So you can now get Futurama for under 200 bucks. I'm not sure how low you can pick this game up for. Maybe 170, maybe 180. Depending on, you know, how patient you are on eBay. Maybe you can get a deal, 150, somewhere in that neighborhood. But this one has taken an like over 30%, over 35% drop in price. So if you're wanting to add some more of the rarer titles, keep an eye out for Futurama. Futurama is one of those games that I think you'll enjoy because it is a fun game. And all these games are fun. They're not just expensive just for the sake of being expensive. All these games are fun. Futurama is a fun one. You'll definitely want to keep your eye out for it if you're interested in that type of game. I'm not going to spend much time talking about this game. Y'all know how much I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But again, this one was an expensive one. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, at its height, was probably fetching around $250, even on the PS2. The most expensive version, I think, is still the Dreamcast version for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So, you know, if you're wanting to save a couple bucks, you could pick it up on the PS2. This one has dropped in price. It was $250 at one point. Now you can get Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for somewhere around $160, $170, I think is what this is fetching now. So if you're a major fan of this game, I know there's like a cult following for Marvel vs. Capcom. For the Marvel vs. Capcom series, period, there's a cult following. If you do not want to pay the price to have it on the Dreamcast, or if you don't have a Dreamcast altogether, I would say pick it up on the PlayStation 2. This actually looks and runs really well on the PlayStation 2. I actually prefer playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the PlayStation 2, just gameplay wise. It's definitely more nostalgic on the Dreamcast, but pricing, which is what we're talking about here this morning, if you're wanting to save a few dollars but add this to your collection, I say keep an eye out for this one. You may want to pick it up sooner than later. Samurai Western. Now, Samurai Western 2, this one was also a very pricey one. I really like this game. It reminds me of Rising Zan. It's one of those like hack and slash style games with a lot of really cool elements to it. But pricing wise, Samurai Western, I think at its height was going for around 180. I don't think it's that expensive anymore. You can probably pick up a copy of Samurai Western for around 120. So you could save yourself a good amount of money from what the highs were and add it into the collection now. If you're not ready to pull the trigger on this one, that's okay. But I would keep an eye out for it. You know, it's definitely taken a huge hit pricing wise, but I have a feeling that some of these games are going to start climbing back up slowly, just as, you know, things get warmer, people start adding back into their collections. And with some of these games, I'm seeing fewer and fewer listings on eBay and fewer listings in Mercari. So Samurai Western is one that's taken a drop, it's taken a hit. Keep an eye out for it. This is a good one to have in the collection. A very fun PlayStation 2 game. Zeno Saga 3. I got this on a trade. Was really stoked about this one. I haven't played a ton of this one yet, to be honest, so I can't really talk much about the gameplay, but I know pricing wise this one has dropped as well. Zeno Saga 3 was also like a $300 game at one point. This one too has taken about a 35% hit in terms of price. You can probably pick this up today between 170 and 190 bucks. So, you know, at that price point, it might be worth looking into. I'm not saying necessarily pull the trigger, but if you've been considering adding Zeno Saga to your collection but was just flabbergasted at the $300 price tag, this one has gone down, and I think it still is going down. So definitely keep an eye out for it. Again, this video is all about price because I know price is a huge factor in what we decide to collect. So Zeno Saga 2 is one of the classic RPGs. If you're interested in this one, keep an eye out. This one has taken a big hit. All right, and last but not least, this is probably the most expensive game in my PlayStation 2 collection and the most fun one. Blood Will Tell. The story behind this game, the gameplay, the action. This is a very, very, very sick game. Everything about this game is fire. I'm not even going to waste time talking about it. If you want to know more about the game, just Google Blood Will Tell. There's a ton of reviews on it. Very good game. But I know Blood Will Tell, at its height, this game was going for over $500. I even saw listings for this game at one point for $600. Blood Will Tell was very expensive. This game has taken an over 40% hit pricing wise. I've seen listings for this game as low as $325 to $350. So you can get Blood Will Tell for between $325 and $350, complete in box, decent condition, like 7 out of 10, maybe even 8 out of 10 condition for this game. I think the average price for this one is probably between $350 and $380. So if you've been hesitant on Blood Will Tell, and I'm saying $350 and $380, like that's cheap, like that's not a lot of money. That's still a lot of money for one video game, for sure. But if you're buying a game like Blood Will Tell to add to your collection, you know, if you're looking at a game like this, odds are you have the budget to buy a game like this. And most people who are adding games like this to their collection, this is truly a collection piece. Like mine is, I have mine in like this plastic protected case here, because games like this you just kind of want to keep protected. But nevertheless, huge price drop on this one. So if you are interested in picking up a copy of Blood Will Tell, keep your eye out. I highly doubt you're going to find a game like this in the wild. And if you do not buy these games in the wild, because 9 times out of 10, if you see these games in a store, they're going to charge you more than you would pay on eBay. Games like these aren't even worth buying in the wild. Unless you are buying them from a place where you can negotiate the price and talk the person down, I wouldn't even waste my time, because finding a copy of Blood Will Tell in most game stores, they're going to have this priced at like $600, above $500. Doesn't make sense to pay that when on eBay the average price is going for around $350. So these are games that you may actually want to go to eBay for if you're considering adding them to your collection. I'm the Y2K Collector, just giving you this quick update on rare PS2 games. Let me know down in the comments if I'm wrong on any of these prices, or if you're seeing higher prices or lower prices in your area. I'm interested to know. Hope you're having a good week. It's Wednesday, it's hump day. We're halfway through the week. The weekend is around the corner and I'm excited for it. Take it easy.